Welcome into About the Cards podcast, episode number 23, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with me, host Stephen Loeffler at Junkwax Twins, Ben Wilson at our trading cards, and I'm Tim Shep. We're at Big Shep 79. We are podcast by collectors for collectors. I'm going to bring you a smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on YouTube, Periscope, Facebook Live. Follow us on Twitter at About the Cards. We're available as a podcast everywhere you can find one. Check out the website about the podcast, aboutthecards.wordpress.com. We have a very special guest with us tonight. If you can see there, Ken Kinsley at Beans B Card Blog. He'll be hanging out with us tonight, and we're gonna have some fun. What's up, Bean? How are you doing, Ken?
Doing great. Thanks for having me back. I was starting to think maybe I did something wrong last time.
Oh no. No, you have, you know what, you have open invitation. There's most of the guests we've had on here in the recent couple episodes have open at you and Dub and the best bit on Twitter, Ben Aguirre, have open invitation. So you want to come on, you tell us. You can show up. You know, Bo has that. Mike Summer, from the Midwest Bureau, they have that too. So Phil, you have a golden ticket to come on whenever.
Dude, I'm
an old man, so it's a little late. I'm an old man. I had to take a 3-hour nap today.
Well, I'm glad to have you.
This is the third hobby icon we've had in a row in back-to-back weeks. This is like,
yeah.
I can't really think of anyone that we wouldn't have back on.
Do I now?
Well, other than he was saying that
I don't know.
Yeah,
I would have to say though, Ken is our favorite person in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, right?
Oh, absolutely. Best facial hair.
He's right above Uncle Rich.
It's close. It's close.
Oh.
It's close. I get it. It's fair enough.
So, hey, Ken, since we last spoke, what have you been up to? Anything?
A lot of the same old
collecting.
A lot of the same old lately. I've been trying to do a little more selling, downsizing, trying to figure out. It's an interesting thing when you want to downsize. You want to get as much as you can by doing as little work as you can. So it's it's tough. I've done some Twitter sales lately. I've been doing. I've done 2 times in the last week. I've logged in and done live YouTube sales. Just to move some stuff because I want to start setting up shows again. And even though we're having a couple of big shows, we're not having small shows, and that's where I need to set up. So just a little bit of that, and just still collecting a little bit, but nothing big. Just filling some holes here and there, basically.
Is there one card that you're out chasing right now?
Really, I am chasing the Alek Manoah parallels. He was drafted last year, played at WVU, my alma mater, and then he was in Prizm draft picks because he was the 11th draft pick. So I mean, he's in pretty much all the the debut prospect type sets. So he's in Heritage Minors this year. So now I'm down to looking for just the flip stock, which I haven't seen one pop up. They're probably sitting in somebody's common box somewhere because you can't tell them from some of the other stuff. And then the red 101. And still trying to work rainbows from Contenders and Prizm. I actually got another Prizm. I got a green cracked ice tonight out of 18 nice. Popped up. So I'm working on that. He's got 2 cards in that set. He's got a rare and then he's subs All Americans set. So it's double the rainbow, double the fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We talked last week with Ben Aguirre, and we just kind of talked about the insane rise in prices in the last 18 months. And I kind of wanted to get your take on what do you think is behind that, and what do you think is going on?
I got 2 people to call out on this one. It's the sneaker dickheads and it's the breakers.
Yeah.
And we know what these people coming over from the sneaker area are doing. We know, bots are getting worse and worse by the release. People can't get stuff. You've got these groups. I can't remember, there was a podcast last week, talked with somebody that kind of runs one of those groups, and you just learned a little bit about that. But a lot of those guys, and then I blame breaks and I blame breakers. And I know you guys love you some breaks, and I'm not acting like I didn't occasionally break I do. You know, looking down these releases over the last couple weeks, you know, you're getting products that you're paying $800 for 8 cards. Who is buying that stuff? It's breaker stuff. Yeah. Nobody's buying you're paying $100 for a card if you open that. So, and I do think that the companies are, you know, the breakers are the ones, you know, you guys talk some Brent, how he, you know, dropped so far down you know, in his buying power. Who are the people that have jumped above him? It's not new card shops. It's breakers. And so I blame them for a lot of it because, you know, how many releases, you know, come out over the next 2 weeks that any of us can reasonably afford?
Yeah, there's one I think this week that's going to be, but we're going to talk about those in a little bit. We're also going to talk about the cook groups and some bots and that stuff later in the show. Last question here before we start really getting into the meat of the show. Where do you see the hobby going in the next few years?
To hell if I know. If you told me this was where we were going to be if you had told me this was where we were going to be in February, I think that 98% of people said, oh man, this COVID is coming. Everybody said it was going to crash and burn, myself included. Yeah. And look where we are. So I got nothing. I can't even try to predict that. I would say probably for the next 12 to 18 months more of the same. But I was gonna, you know, had it under my head, had to pick an option. But I don't know. It's crazy.
All right, outstanding. No, and I agree. I think we've spoke on this show about it a lot. We thought that this would implode. This would, COVID would have burst the bubble, and it would have been great for all of the long term and long time collectors to get in and be able to to be able to obtain stuff and pick stuff up on the secondary market for nothing. Instead, it's gone completely opposite way, and it's fun to see. Like, okay, yeah, I have this card that's worth $600 that was worth $20 in February, but is it truly worth $600? And do I just sell it now and wait for 2 years and go rebuy it maybe at $50, right?
Mm-hmm. And then if I sell it on eBay, what do I have to deal with? Return. Yeah. If it's a hot card, I've got returns or this or that. So I mean, it's this. Yeah. eBay used to be the Wild West for the buyers. Now it's the Wild West if you're a seller.
Yeah, and it's turning into California. If the card comes to your house and offends you, then you can definitely send it back, and we'll give you a refund, and then we'll have somebody come over and rub your belly, and you'll feel better about it, right? So, yeah, and we're going to move into our election coverage here tonight. We're not going to talk sports cards. We're going to talk just about the election. No, I'm just kidding. This is your break from this is your break from the election coverage. And last night, real quick, if I was playing a drinking game, like we played the Brent and Becca drinking game, anytime I mentioned Brent, you had to take a shot. If they said it's too early to call, I would have been hammered in the first 3 minutes of when I turned on at 8 o'clock to watch. I would have been dead drunk on the floor because they said it like 15 times in a row. And anyway, so we'll get into the week that was last week's releases. Topps Living Week 138, card 358, Tyler Glasnow, pitcher, Tampa Bay Rays, and card 359, Corey Seager, Los Angeles Dodgers. I got to pull the numbers here because I did not take a look earlier, but I don't expect that it was a gangbuster week. So,
they did cover both of the World Series competitors. Maybe not the best photos for both, but can't do much worse.
Oh yeah, they could. Well, they could have.
Whoa.
They probably could have done worse, but we'll. Let's see. Let's actually go pull the numbers here and see what happens. They have not updated them yet, so I didn't miss anything there. We'll try to get that to you next week. And then 2020 Panini Contenders baseball dropped, and 2020 Panini Phoenix football dropped. They should have spelled football with that one with a PH instead of an F. It would have been Phoenix. It would have just been nice. We're gonna hop in hot off the presses. This week's new releases: Topps Living Week 139, card 360, Masahiro Tanaka, pitcher, New York Yankees. And they sneak him in before he probably leaves in free agency. And then we also have card 361, Austin Nola, brother of Aaron Nola, the rookie catcher. And they have on the San Diego Padres. He was with the Mariners early in the year and got traded. And we have our first rookie in a few weeks in Austin Nola. And it's a good-looking Nola card. And I like the Tanaka card, the smile on his face. That, hey, I stole all of your money, Yankees. And I didn't really ever produce that well for you. So thank you.
The eyes on Nola look a little off, but otherwise, no, it's a pretty card.
Yeah, if they were doing an Austin Nola movie, Bradley Cooper is probably going to play Austin Nola.
Sure, maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah, well, it's Hollywood.
The good news about
Schwarzenegger.
The good news about your Tanaka comment is, they have plenty of time to get some of these potential free agents in the set. I know they did Semien recently, so you might see kind of a handful of these guys that are probably going to switch teams, but no free agents are signing until February anyway. I mean, free agency's been open since free agency's been open since Sunday. You're not going to see anybody sign until we know what the finances of. Dude. Well, there's potential. I mean, there's going to be some absolute bargains, especially for Steve Cohen and the Mets. You're going to get George Springer and JT Realmuto and Liam Hendricks and a couple of other guys for a lot less than you would have. Watch the Mets grab 4 or 5 of these free agents.
Yeah, we'll see. It's the Mets, though. They'll still mess it up.
Yeah.
It's still the Mets, dude. And you cannot buy – in baseball, you cannot buy championships anymore. It just really – you can get a piece here and there, but you really have to have a good farm system and build your team from within. I mean, you look at the Dodgers, right? A lot of their pitching, homegrown.
Yeah, homegrown. Yeah.
A lot of their field and their talent in the field. I mean, they added Mookie Betts. Justin Turner's been there quite a while. They picked him off the scrap heap years ago, but a lot of the talent they brought up themselves. I mean, you look at the Giants run. Almost all of those guys on the Giants team were homegrown players, except for the outfielders, because the Giants can't make an outfielder save their lives. But you've looked at the Cardinals in the past, and when the Yankees were really good with Jeter and those guys, it was all from within. And when you start to go spend money and just kind of build a team, it doesn't always necessarily turn out to be the best way to do that. So we'll see.
You're right, but the economics are going to speak to the fact that a guy like Steve Cohen, who's the only one that was not directly impacted because he's a brand new owner, so he wasn't impacted by revenue loss this year within Major League Baseball. His net worth went up over the past 6-7 months. Who knows? I think the Mets are, and you're going to get guys like Mitch Moreland potentially that just got retired, not because he wanted to. You saw it with like Brandon Moss, where the league just said, we don't want you anymore. You're going to see a lot of guys in that 34, 35, 36-year-old age range that will not get a job moving forward because of the economic downturn in baseball, especially on the eve of a potential work stoppage.
Yeah.
They're just going to go younger, and that's the way it is.
Yeah. Real quick, do you think a work stoppage would burst the baseball card collecting bubble if it went on for a prolonged amount of time?
No, because the bubble is more predicated on basketball than it is baseball.
I'm just talking about the baseball stuff, though. I'm just talking about the baseball part of the hobby.
I think the election results last night will have a bigger impact on the finances of the hobby moving forward, depending on who's elected. Without going into that, I think we're potentially going to see a recession in the next 2 or 3 years. Like a big one, bigger than 08 and 09.
And I would say no, because look what happened when we had no sports. Everybody was selling. Nobody was in a slump. Gavin Lux was selling. Well, what happened once the season started? He struggled. But, look at where all of this started when there were no sports. So that tells me it's still close enough to that. I don't see where it would have an impact. It might could actually help.
Interesting. Just something to keep to think about and see what's going on there. 2020 Topps Dynasty dropped today. $485 a box, 1 pack per box, 5 cards per pack. You're going to get 1 autograph relic, dual autograph, or cut signature. in the box. It's a luxury level of cards with a low print run and very star heavy. They use black and white photographs. All base cards are numbered out of 10. They have silver parallels, which are numbered to 5, and also 1 of 1s. They have the On This Day autographed patch cards, which are numbered to 10, and these include MLB authentication, holograms on the swatch, so the collectors can trace it to a certain game. There is Dynasty autographed dual relics numbered to 5. Those have on-card signatures from Legends. And the mem pieces might not be patches, but they are 2 pieces of game-used memorabilia on those cards. And there's a new triple autograph patch cards out of 5. And those will have on-card signatures as well. So a lot of real autos, no stickers, a lot of game-used stuff. But with the black and white, it kind of gives it, kind of an artsy look, I guess, and the colors coming from your patch.
So our buddy Andrew at Bayside, who's been on the show, big Will Clark collector, opened up a case of these, or maybe just a box, and he opened
one box.
Will Clark auto out of 10. Are you kidding me? What an awesome pull for him.
Yeah, he's a huge. If you don't know, he's a huge Clark and Giants guy. Yeah. So very cool to pull your PC guy out of a big expensive product like that. I love to look at these cards. They're not something I would collect or go after, but if someone hand me a stack of them or a box and said enjoy, I would definitely open and take the cards. But not something I'm going to go and run down to purchase. But if that's your cup of tea, a big hitter quitter, big hitter one quitter,
Well, and that's the thing. Just looking at these mock-ups, and I'm assuming they're mock-ups because I don't think Hank Aaron's had that nice of a signature in quite a few years. These look nice, but I just don't see how it's reasonable to pick up. What was the cost on these? Did you have that?
$485.
$485 for
basically $100 a card, give or take.
They usually sell for that too, but the problem is they just don't look different enough year over year.
Yeah, just take out the centerpiece here and slap Topps triple threads, and what's the difference?
Yeah, I've got a McGuire from 17 or 18, and pay about $100 for it, and it looks just like if you'd have told me it's a 2020. Okay, they just look the same year over year, and at that price point, I get that they're all numbered 10 or 15 and less, but grab your guy in the secondary market. You're not going to get lucky like Andrew did and pull your guy. So grab whichever one you want. Yeah, they're nice.
I do kind of like the aesthetic of Juan Soto wearing the old Washington Senators hat. But
they're what they call the Capitol hat or something. I forget the name of that hat. So interesting. Just a luxury. I like how Cracknell said it was a luxury release, luxury level. 2020 Panini National Treasures Baseball dropped today. $680 a box, 1 pack per box, 8 cards per pack, 8 autograph or mem cards. There's 213 cards in the set. There's current veterans, rookies, prospects, and greats of the game. There's the rookie material signatures. That's one of the centerpieces of this with an on-card auto and oversized patch pieces. They also have debut material signature booklets. This is an even bigger piece of memorabilia with a swatch statement of a full panel. They also have a futures insert, which isn't exclusively rookies, but they have on-card autographs of some young stars. International treasures, so players, foreign-born players that have on-card signatures. Hall of Fame signatures is exclusively in Cooperstown inductees. So you're going to have your Hall of Fame guys that are like Griffey on the screen there. And then mem cards, there's bat knobs, barrels, cleats, and nameplates that are available. This again is year to year looks very similar. A lot of the same guys. My question is if you had $485 to buy Dynasty and get 5 cards, or you had the choice of spending $680 and getting 8 cards from Panini with no logos, but you're getting 8 autos and or mem, you're getting 8 bites of the apple versus 1. Where do you spend your money? Which one are you going to go with?
Personally, just off the mock-up images, I'm going Panini. The patches look nicer. They're not just a single slight cutout. I mean, when did Hank Aaron play for the Mets?
That's No, that's red. A
Is it?
jersey from the 70s. Yeah.
Is it though?
Yeah.
But I mean that's the point. You can clearly look at this and distinguish that that's the Toronto Blue Jay hat.
Yeah. Well, Ken, what are you going to go with? If you have the money doesn't matter. You get to pick. You know, which one are you going to go with?
I'm going with 8 autographs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, plain and simple. And isn't National Treasures always on card too?
Most of the time, yeah, almost always.
That's what I'm going with. But again, I'm not a huge baseball collector, so the lack of logos doesn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
I remember somebody, and Ben, which one are you going to go with? The one that has the most A's in it?
I go with whatever's cheap.
No, it doesn't. The money doesn't matter. It does to you that it's like spending $3.
You know, National Treasures was absolutely huge for me back in 2012 when I was getting back into the hobby and trying to find my way. I own a lot of National Treasures, a lot from 2012 because they had, you know, Jared Parker and Derek Norris outside of just Cespedes. I'm a big National Treasures guy. I have one Dynasty card and it's just not as impressive to me, despite the fact that the patches usually are really nice. To me, National Treasures is just a slick product, and I imagine if I collected basketball and football as well, I would definitely be all in. So yeah, like Ken said, on a product like that, especially if you get like a Ricky Henderson or something, it doesn't really matter that you don't get the logo. It's just not important in that product.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a guy like me who doesn't have a Ricky Henderson autograph. I don't have any of these big names. I don't have these autographs because that's not how I collect. But if I open a box of these and get that, you're damn sure I'm keeping them.
Yeah. Yeah. Panini Cooperstown back in what years were they, Steph? 12 and 13, 12, I believe.
13, yeah.
Those were another product where, because they were done in black and white and whatnot, and they were retired guys. So even the more modern players like Cal Ripken and Ricky Henderson still looked really good on those cards. And to me, it was just, as a non-licensed product, it was sharp. It was good for player collectors. National Treasure is the same kind of thing. I don't think it's different. Like when you have, you know, the crap that is Chronicles and whatnot. I think it's more important for those types when you compare those to counterparts in tops, such as maybe Big League Baseball and some of the other Gypsy Queen, some of the more affordable products.
Entry level, yeah.
Yeah, but National Treasures, I mean, if you're spending $100 bill, if you catch Ricky Henderson with no hat on, what's it really matter?
Yeah.
You know? And it also doesn't matter the fact that he played for 11 teams. You can be a fan of it no matter what, if that's your guy. You know?
Yeah. 2015.
Yeah, I don't... personally, it doesn't really matter on this higher-end stuff. Yeah.
All right, and we have 1920 Panini's Clearly Donruss basketball that dropped today. $375 a box, 4 packs per box, 5 cards per pack, 3 parallels and 1 insert. This got pushed back a couple of weeks, but it's here now. 100-card base set. The base set, the base design is from 1920 Donruss, obviously, but now in acetate form. One of the toughest parallels to pull will be the holographic mosaic parallel. There's autographs really aren't a hobby. They are not a hobby guarantee in this set, but some inserts that people are going to chase are all clear for takeoff, Defying Gravity, My House, Stargazing, and the Rookies. So some good looking cards. You know, if you like the acetate feel of cards, and autographs will pop, but they're mostly going to be rookies, but they're not going to be a guarantee, which I like. Okay, but not for $375 a box and no guarantee of an autograph. But I like the fact that makes the autograph a little bit more elusive and probably a little bit better of a checklist than most, where you're not getting, you know, the last guy on the D League bench as your auto. So
G
League, whatever, D League, G League, it's all the same, dude.
According to
disappointing.
Disappointed?
I was just going to say disappointed that at that price point, though, that appears to be a sticker auto, because acetate cards do look really nice. signed hard card. Upper Deck does a good job with those with hockey product, and I've seen a few of these open on Instagram. Some of the individual cards, so they do look really sharp. I would love to have a couple of those in my collection, but I'm not going to be putting out $500 for a Zion Williamson.
One of my buddies who's getting back into collecting has been just DMing me like crazy, a bunch questions and stuff about collecting, getting back into it, and he's like, I love them, and I was like, don't go buy the box. I said for $375, you can take that $375 and go buy a handful of cards that you really like, and get the cards exactly that you want or close to, and then you might not get the big hit or the big money maker, but you're going to get what you like. And he was like, oh, he's like I like that, okay. Because he's about to go buy a box, I believe. So,
yeah, I saw a Zion acetate today on Facebook. I meant to screenshot it, but it was way off center. It was like 70-30 left to right, and somebody said they should have called this clearly off centered, and I'm like, that's bad for a modern card, especially one that's going to cost you a pretty penny. I mean, why would you spend that kind of money on a Zion if it's and this looked like good old junk wax off-centered stuff. I've wanted to look at the back and see if it was even the right back or if it said Morant on the back or something like that. I mean, it was for something printed yesterday, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's funny. And then we have 2020-21 Panini Prizm Draft Picks Collegiate Football. Comes out Friday, $350 a box. 5 packs per box, 6 packs, 6 cards per pack, 5 autos, 10 parallel, 5 Prizm, silver Prizms, 100. It's a 100-card base set. It's going to highlight the best names coming up in the NBA draft, which happens 2 weeks from tonight. Tons of color parallels from multiple pack outs. They have 8 options to collect these cards. So box versions, first off the line and fast break and retail. It's going to be interesting. There's a hobby only insert color blast. It comes back and it's going to have the top 10 players or who they believe the top 10 players are going to be from this class. And they've also made a very important distinction. Instead of it saying draft pick autographs, in this set, the 2021 Prizm draft picks autograph is called prospect autographs. And there's an Anthony Edwards who's going to be a top 2-3 pick. And it says prospect autograph versus it saying draft pick because the draft has not happened yet. At this point in time, we would be in the first full week of the season. The season would have tipped off, last Wednesday or Thursday, and it didn't because of the coronavirus. And we might have the season starting in November, December. We will see. But this was pretty hot last year. Our buddy James, did well. He pulled up a black Zion from this, and went and flew to Dallas and had a great. And it was a big story, and it was like kind of what sparked his YouTube channel. So if you like the collegiate guys, and we know our buddy Jimmy, who's a big Kentucky fan, is all over this with all of his Kentucky guys that are in this every year. So it's a good way to get a taste of the guys coming out, but don't get overexcited because they will have a big value. Last year we saw they had a big value early on, and it kind of, as other products came out and they had their NBA jerseys, this lost a little bit of its luster.
Well, and that's what I was going to tip on was that, James had his huge hit, flew down here, but Jimmy also popped on. And most recently, he'd opened up his store, didn't he?
Yeah. And I'm going to reach out to him and have him come on and join us again. He was guy's full of energy.
And he agreed with me on everything I said. So
well, and last time we had him on was about a year ago because I remember we were talking about he can't have candy on because it was about Halloween. We were talking about our favorite Halloween candy, and he couldn't eat candy. So, but also 2020 Panini Flawless Collegiate Football drops Friday, $2,225 a box.
Nope,
Lord. 1 pack per box, 10 cards per pack. You're getting 6 autographs, 2 mem, 2 base or indoor parallel. This is another luxury release this week, and this is of college football cards. They'll release has basically 3 parts: autographs, swatches, and gems. Every autograph card in the product has on-card autos and has no more than 25 copies. Look for conference, brand, and bowl game logo swatches. There are autographs from the Star Swatch Signatures line, which highlights some of the best college football players of all time, as you saw my boy Barry Sanders. And then there's also flawless dual signatures that have players from the same school. And then they have these gem cards of teams. So there's no player projected on there. This is showing the Ohio State logo with gems throughout the O in Ohio State. So, flawless, super high end. Definitely made for the everyman. I know Bean's probably is going to be opening on his channel 6, 7, 8 cases of this probably tomorrow, Friday, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, not at $222 a card. Sorry.
Yeah. You gotta, man, make sure Joe Burrow's in every box, every pack, right? And then our last new release this week is always one of my favorites, 2020 Topps Update Baseball, finally in November coming out. It's been pushed back a couple of weeks. You're going to get a jumbo box for $245, 10 packs per box, 46 packs per card. You're going to get one autograph, 2 mem or manufactured relic cards, 2 silver packs as a top box topper. The hobby box is going to run you $128 for 24 packs and 14 cards per pack. That's going to guarantee you 1 autograph, mem or manufactured relic, and 1 silver pack. They found 300 cards to put in the set this year. They're going to feature players changing teams, some rookies. There's a handful. And there's going to be some subset that include stat leaders and combo cards with multiple players. And because there was no home run derby or all-star game this year, they are going to show past all-star games and home run derby performances. Players who debuted in the shortened season that didn't already have base cards this year in 2020 will not be in the main set. So players like Joe Adell, Casey Mize, Joey Bart, and others will have rookie cards starting in 2021 Topps Series 1. So Series 1 should be very hot for the first time in quite some time next year. There's going to be a cool insert this year, prospect insert. They're going to use the 1989 Topps design and have the number 1 draft pick logo on there to help fill the lack of rookies. So each team has their top-ranked prospect will have a card. So you remember like the Jim Abbott, there's a Robin Ventura. Those are some of the big names from the 89 set that had the number 1 draft pick logo, which I always thought was a cool-looking card. They're going to have more Decades Best. A new numbers game is new to update. And this is going to be a theme where the players who've had their jerseys retired get inserts. Derek Jeter's getting a lot of love. His career retrospective, 20 years of the captain. So there's going to be a whole bunch of Derek Jeter inserts. They're bringing in the 3rd installment of 1985 Topps with the rookies, the vets, and the retired stars. In retail, Turkey Red will be back, landing 1 per retail pack. There's 50 new cards for the Turkey Red set. Baseball Stars is where you're going to see quite a bit of the autographs. They're also going to have the 1985 design with autographs, and those are all going to have on-card signatures. They are going to have All-Star Game swatches from warm-ups used between the 2013 and 2019 All-Star Game. And, again, Major League materials are going to get some game-used mem in there. A couple of rookies to look for, Trent Grisham and our buddy Randy Rezarina from the Rays. Both were traded, so I think they had rookie cards in Series 1 where Grisham was a Brewer and Rezarina was a Cardinal, and they will be on their new team of the Padres and the Rays. There's a handful of rookie debuts for Bo Bichette, Kyle Lewis, Aquino, Jesus Luzardo, as Phil Hughes calls him, Jesus Lizard, which just makes me laugh because, anyway. Gavin Lux and Jordan Ventura, but you will not see a Luis Robert rookie debut. We'll probably see that in Update 2021. We're going to talk more about Update. There's a lot of information there. We're going to talk more about Update later, but I'm not as excited as I was for Update, say in like July, as I was even in early October for Update. So there's some changes that they've done to the pack out that tend me to lead me to believe that there's a lot more of this than meets the eye.
So. 2 quick hits. 3 rather. 1, I love the idea of the 89 prospects. Hopefully they get better picks than the actual 89 set. 2, which one do you think is Pete Rose? Is it this guy or is it this guy right here?
Yeah, both of them.
And three, more importantly, do we really need another Derek Jeter / Yankee 20?
Yes, because Topps has to use this Derek Jeter of stuff as much as they can because they've just
why
they got to get their return right now. All in by the end of the year. They want it all by Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
sounds like.
Check out Ryan Cracknell's articles on Beckett.com/news for more details on those releases. What's brewing next week's releases? 2020 Panini Illusions Football, and that's it. A lot this week, one next week, so we'll see. And maybe one of these football releases later in the week will get pushed back, but didn't look like it as of today. We'll hop to the Infield Chatter, our Hobby Talk section part of the show. Steph has a giveaway. He's giving away a chance to be in a minor league card set, huh?
I do. So I pulled everyone that had applied. I even pulled some of the people who didn't necessarily follow the rules but left a comment on the previous video. Tossed them up in a random, and you'll never guess who won.
If you say Uncle Rich, you're kicked out of the show.
No, not Rich, but Dan Serbia. Come on down. Shoot the show.
Oh, nice.
Shoot the show account a message, and I'll even double toil and treble it and toss in 2 cookies.
Look at that, doubling down, double cheeseburger on Steph tonight.
He only gets the second one if he comes on the show.
Indeed.
There we go. So this came out on Thursday, so we missed it for last week. But 2020 Topps Rip popped up, and it's out today. It's been hitting people's homes today. It's another in a fast-growing list of online exclusive by Topps. This one it basically is a Rip card, so that you've seen in Allen & Ginter, but it's an entire product of it.
Speaking of Allen & Ginter, and ripped a Rip card from Allen & Ginter on the show YouTube account. It's not the best production, but she did rip it, and the video's up there. It's a minute. You want to rip it real quick?
So, first glance, you just have a regular card. It has a player and a number, like a normal card. And it could even be a serial number parallel. However, inside is another mini. You don't know what it is. It could be a star. It could be a rookie, a parallel, an autograph, a rare image variation, or it could just be a common mini that's not as exciting. It's a 100-card base, a 100-card checklist, and the minis are also 100-card checklist as well. Every other box comes with an autographed mini, and the signatures are on card. And 4-card boxes originally were selling on Topps.com for $100. And there was at Brad Halverson on Twitter. He tweeted out he opened 2 boxes, and he said, "Opened my boxes of Topps Rip. I beat the odds and got 2 autographs. Fun to finally have a Rip card, a card to rip." So yeah, I don't know if you guys these were exclusive to the Montgomery members on Wednesday, and then it came out to the public on Thursday. But for $25 a card, I had an opportunity that somebody that asked if I wanted to buy their box. It was for I was like, no, I'm good.
I watched our buddy John Newman rip through a few of them. He had some decent cards. He was just starting to open the first rip, and I think he said that it was one of the extended minis. Nothing special. But, for $25 to open a rip, that's rough. If you're not getting an auto or a serial number low something or another.
Yeah.
And the premise just bastardizes Allen & Ginter. I mean, one of the main things that attract people to Ginter is these single rips, double rips, triple rips, and then you literally come out with a product, and it's like, Topps, what are you doing, man?
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was going to say. And the fact that Ben and I agree on something, I mean, it hurts me right here.
Well,
and
it's over. Upper Deck Masterpieces is one of his favorite sets, and I can't disagree.
This is weird, man. I said something nice the other day on Twitter, and people lost their friggin' minds, man.
Yeah.
I think it's a
little. It took what I had, so I got nothing else on.
No, I don't think to me it's just kind of I think it just, and everybody always says, "Oh, it's a money grab." I just don't understand. What's the reason behind the product? I don't get it. Like, honestly, I just don't. So anyway, holiday music. Topps tweeted out this week is November 1st too early to listen to holiday music. Pumpkin for yes or Snowman for no. They were showing a preview of the Topps holiday release. And these always, every year, these have a little bit more greenery on them. And it looks like the stars this year, the snowflakes are green versus being white. I just wish they would do a better job in being able to differentiate the metallic versus the unmetallic. And you see Aquino there's got the candy cane bat. And then
Aquino's got the bat. Lindor's got a snowball, and he's got Santa's belt. That's my real complaint is that in years past, you essentially had to see whether the Topps logo was above the design elements or behind it to find out whether it was not magnetic, but metallic parallels. And personally, honestly, I think this year's design is a step back from last year. Absolutely love last year's design.
I understand, but at least it's different, though.
Sure, it is. I like it. I'm not saying that. I just think it's a step back.
Well, the last year, do you remember we were on the show? Each bought a set for what was like $17 shipped.
$14.99.
Yeah, which was less than the cost of a blaster of it, and had all the good rookies in it. So
I'm disappointed. I won't be able to find it this year, just with all going on. Because last year I did. Oh my gosh, I cleared the shelves. I bought like 12 blasters of it.
You didn't save it for the kids?
Screw them kids. But anyway, yeah. But no, I mean, my wife and I she was actually excited to rip them because she liked to look at them and see if she could find anything. I mean, she loves the holidays, and I did pretty well. I pulled out like a T Santa hat numbered out of 75, but they're just cool, and they're still. I haven't collated them, but I want to put the set together, and they're still sitting in a 2-row box. I just haven't gotten to them yet. Maybe by 2025 I'll get to them. But yeah, I think they're very cool. I had got some of the winter last year too. I like the holidays, so it just adds something different.
Yeah. Just understand the difference between a snowflake parallel and a base card. Just because there's a snowflake on it doesn't mean it's a snowflake embossed, raised. I can run my finger over it and feel the snowflake popping off the card parallel because, man, that was a nightmare. I like the metallic parallels, or at least that's what they called them, because it made it a lot easier as a buyer.
Yeah. There's the Santa hat relics. I love that. 2020 Topps update odds. So our buddy at Brit and Becca, and we'll have a lot more of this next week's show once this product gets ripped and opens. But he tweeted out after seeing the Topps update odds, which are the longest ever for an update release due to the production increases, and getting cut down by 80%. So his pre-buy got cut down by 80%. The first time in my Topps opening over 20 years, I will not be able to even make one gold parallel set. So no team sets. I'm sorry. Ben is furious probably as I'm reading this. Gold sets are double last year. In 2019 update, they were gold card was 1 in 8 hobby packs and 1 in 2.5 jumbo packs. This year, it's 1 in 16 hobby packs and 1 in 5 jumbo packs. Wow. So in a jumbo box, you're going to get two gold cards, and these are numbered out of 2020. It used to be in 2018 it was 1 per pack. Just to give you guys an idea of what it was. I mean, for the longest time it was 1 gold card per pack in jumbo, and then last year was 1 in every 2.5 packs, and this year now it's 1 in every 5. That's how much production this product has. And you look and see the jumbo boxes are $200 something. The hobby box $128. And there's we went over the rookies. I mean, there was 2 named rookies that I could put out there and say, but they're reprint rookies just on new teams. He says, looking at the update odds, jumbo is a clear winner again, and a hobby appears just to be 1 auto per case. And some could have a second, but rare based on the odds. So a case of hobby, just to fill you in, is 12 boxes of hobby. Makes up a case. So you're talking that out of all 12, you're going to get 12 hits out of a case. 11 of them are going to be relics or manufactured relics, and you're going to get 1 autograph.
The checklist
isn't that good.
The checklist is a mess. I mean, the A's have a Cespedes and a McGuire home run derby, right? Dude, you did this as an insert set like in 2018. So you're just regurgitating your old crap because you can't fill out a 350 card checklist. Oh, by the way, if you're an A's collector, there's no Tommy La Stella or Mike Minor or other players that did make an appearance. But thank you, there's a Sky Bolt who didn't play for the A's this year. And crap from 2018. It's like, who the hell's making this checklist? I know it's a down year, and I get it. I get they're handicapped, but still, man, half that damn checklist is just crap we've seen in the past, and then it's gonna have long odds on top of that. It's bullshit.
There are 19. I just did a count on the checklist. There are 19 A's. 9 of them are either Trout or Pujols.
Angels.
Just the Angels team. Yeah.
You said A's though.
You said A's.
Ben got excited because Trout was an A for a minute.
No. I just heard. Thank God I'm not a Yankees fan. All that Jeter shit that's coming out.
Yeah.
And Ben touched on it with less quality rookies, and and I'm an outsider to the base. I don't collect the way that you guys collect. But yeah, less quality rookies this year. You lost the All-Star, you lost those things, and then you're going with a high. I'm not on this is a junk wax 2.0 train, but I can see why people are saying that. You basically have no quality rookies. The print run is just through the roof, and it's still going to be clear the shelves 3 times, and some idiots are going to pay it, I guess. But
yeah.
I don't know.
I locked in my jumbo case at a pretty good price, but this might be the last case that I buy, to be honest. Just because of the way the market is, it's just not responsible on my behalf to do that. And I did this a long time ago so I could get a good price on it. And I'm going to open it and have fun with it, but I just, usually Update is one of my favorites because you get to see all of the all-star stuff, and you get to see the new guys that debuted and the guys in their new uniforms. It's just cool. It's usually a fun release, and I don't blame them because the season was messed up. But the fact that they printed so much more, and we're seeing prices, 25% up over last year's prices. To me, I don't know. It's tough. And then, if you want to, the best way to buy is if you like the set, buy the base set on the secondary market for like $25 or $30. You're going to get all the cards, and then take the other $200 or the other $175 on a jumbo box and go buy the rookies and the autographs you want, and do better that way, I think. So, consignment. So Sport Lots is starting consignment auctions. They put out a note for the first time in quite a while. Sport Lots will be running a series of auctions on consignment. A local card shop that closed in the mid-'90s has asked us to sell all of their unopened boxes on Sport Lots. I recently took a look at the items, and there are hundreds of unopened boxes from the late 80s through the mid-90s from all the major sports. These have been sitting in a climate-controlled room for 25-plus years, and now they're looking to free up space. The auction will started today, $0 and continue until all of the unopened boxes and packs have been sold. Here's a picture of the first batch of unopened boxes and wax packs that will be auctioned off.
The thing I love about this, we know one of the current high bidders.
What box is it?
Mikey's buying 4 boxes of 91 Score Series 1 and 2 and more.
Ooh, nice. Let's outbid him, guys. Let's get in there. But no, so if you go to the Sport Lots page, it's right there. Steph can shoot out the links, but yeah, that's great. If a lot of you guys if you're building sets or a player team collectors, Sport Lots is a great way. This weekend I got over 240 cards, so over 6 pounds of cards delivered to my house, and it took me 2.5 hours to go through all the packages that came in the flat rate box that they sent me from all the purchases I made. That box thing was awesome. It saved me $70. They said I think it was $80 in shipping to do the box, and it was so much fun to go through.
Yeah, sorry, I'm working on that myself. I've actually had stuff in there since the spring. At one point, I went through and bought, I want to say, 200 Charles Barkley cards. And I've just continued piling it up. And to be honest, part of the reason is, while I have saved money on the shipping, part of the reason is I'll only have one delivery home instead of I've probably put 50 to 75 orders in. So those haven't, trickled in. And obviously it's not anything that I've wanted immediately. Some of that stuff I do go ahead and have sent, but that's an advantage. And it's going to be kind of like a ComC mail day that I'm not even going to know what the hell's in there when I open it
this
up.
was so awesome. I was like, I forgot about these. Oh, it was like Christmas. Like I said, because I opened it on Halloween. It was Christmas on Halloween this year. And so it was a lot of fun to do. And when you go through and check out, you have to see if it's cheaper to ship it to the box or to your house. And, sometimes it's easier to have it sent directly to you. It's, the same price. But a lot of times there's sellers on there that offer free shipping to the box, which is awesome. So build a fat stack and ship it to yourself. So, and I even paid, I forget what I paid for the shipping. But he actually refunded me $8 because it was less than the estimated shipping price I paid. So I thought that was super cool. He could have pocketed $8, didn't do that. Pretty cool.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
So when you got that, what I don't know, because I've seen the sales on the Sport Lot auctions where people haven't claimed their box stuff and they've sold it. I'm sure they contact them. So that when it came to you, is it still in the original packing from that where you actually opened a bunch of mailers or? Yes.
So there was a lot of envelopes. There were some bubble mailers, and then what a lot of it does is because when I sell to ComC or when I sell through Sport Lots, and they ship it to these the box option for me, I package everything up in team bags and top loaders, and then I put the packing slip in there so they can see who it goes to, and I seal the team bag. So a lot of it came like that. So it was a ton of team bags with the packing slip and the card, and I think I picked up 60 or 70 top loaders. Just from that purchase. It was crazy. If you go to my Twitter feed and look at the pictures there, it was my wife's is it just unlimited packages in there? I was like, oh yeah, definitely. And I said, this is the site where I buy the 18-cent cards, and I think the most I probably spent on a card that I got was a couple of bucks because I picked up a couple of the Mike Trout cards I didn't have from Alan Ginter, but yeah. Card Polls put out an interesting poll this week. Do you think bots buying cards on websites is ethical? There were 210 votes. 10% said yes, 82% said no, and 7% said what's a bot. I just want to know, because this came up, and we also have the Discord groups or the cook groups that we talk about. Hey, go and buy XYZ rookie, and we're going to buy him up at $12 and buy him up till he's at 15, and then once he hits 15, sell. But I wanted to know what you guys think about bots and using websites and stuff like that.
Yeah, so to give a rough crash course, one, I just did the math. That's 173 people of 210 said no. That it's ethical. Essentially, people write different code and program that once you run it on your computer, it refreshes the page to see if there's new product available, ding, found one, buy it, and instantly, the second that it's available, it's sold out. Or a certain amount of available. You can set your quantity. So you want to buy 20 boxes of whatever, what is available on Target.com. You just bought it as long as you have the funds available. Which was kind of hilarious because in the last Black Friday, there were companies that were knowingly seeing this happen. And I think it was Panini that had launched some Disney princess sticker set for 17 grand. And a few bots had actually snipped in and bought them. I personally don't think it's ethical because unlike when you get an email saying, hey, there's a Kohl's discount on jackets or winter wear, everyone gets that. Everyone has a chance to get in the car, go to Kohl's, and buy their winter wear. This is the instant that it hits the website. They're talking seconds. It's purchased. That's not fair to anyone, and it's really just taking advantage of the system.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think I saw a video where this guy was talking about how he was making money without being at home and working as if his bots. And they were buying stuff, shoes, all kinds of different stuff throughout various websites, and reselling on the market. And I think in the long term, it's not healthy for the market. I like what Panini did with those Disney stickers. It's a pretty nice jab at them, but I know. I mean, Ben or Ken, do you guys have a feeling on it?
Go ahead, Ben.
So I think we got to take a step back and try to find out what the purpose of a bot would do, right? And that's to buy product at a fair price, right? 1977 Cloth in the chat says that they're ethical because they're playing within the rules. And that is true, right? They're buying it from the website at what the website has it listed at. But the idea being is we're going to buy it with the intent to corner a certain percentage of said market, and then we're going to be able to sell that on the secondary market for an inflated price. And if you want it, you're going to have to pay what we're asking for it because we own a certain percentage, and it's probably a fairly large amount. So although they're playing within the rules, the premise, the intent is deceitful. Because essentially they're manipulating the market, and they can do that because that's what it is. Ethics shouldn't have any gray area, but for a lot of things it does. Is it ethical to steal a loaf of bread? No, it's not. But if your kid is hungry, you're going to do it. And a lot of times ethical versus unethical, sometimes borderline, if not downright, is criminal. In this case, it's not criminal. They're playing within the rules. But that doesn't make it right just because you're able to manipulate the rules set forth. And anybody that would give bots a platform in which to present why they do it and promote that, shame on you, man, if that's what you're doing.
Well, and personal anecdote here, but for this year's first off the line Diamond Kings, I bought one at a price that was reasonable for me, and I was going to buy 2 or 3 more boxes once it hit the lowest tier because it was the Dutch auction, and once it got down, I think 83 was the lowest price. I had quantity 3 purchase. It froze, page timed out, sold out. Within the next week, Schmo Out Cards had them up for double the starting price that Panini had them available. Not saying that that's where they got them. They could have easily sat there with 300 employees and bought them. However, it seems funny that they were available, then they weren't, and everybody has them at jacked up prices.
Yeah. Personally, I like this stuff where Topps has had with their online releases where hey, we have this Montgomery Club and you pay a fee and you're able to go in and purchase these boxes if you want to. And you can buy 2 of them, whatever they set it at. And then they offer it up and you can apply to be in a raffle. And then if you do, you have the opportunity to go in and buy your box. Mm-hmm. I think that has been one of the better ways they figured this out. I'm not a big fan of the Dutch auction thing. Sure. But teach his own. I think that these companies, if they want, I don't think they care who the product really goes to at the end of the day, as long as it sells out and they make their money.
Right.
But I would say that they would do better publicly if they came out and they said, hey, we want collectors to be able to get their hands on these and offer things where it's a little bit easier for somebody to go in and buy a box or 2 and not have to have a bot go do that for them. And it gets in the hands of more collectors versus resellers or flippers. So,
well, yeah, and it's down to the company to make it right.
But to Steph's point and illustration, if we're just talking about comparative analysis, right? You're talking about a Kohl's receipt or Kohl's coupon. We all have access to that. If Kohl's was selling a jacket and bots were gobbling it up, cool. I'll just go to Macy's or JCPenney or Nordstrom or Walmart. Here I don't have another option. If I want to buy baseball cards, if that's my choice, got to buy them from Topps, whether you're buying it directly or indirectly. And if you're buying it indirectly, you're paying an inflated price because of bots. And a point that was made again by 1977 Cloth in the chat room was, that they're taking a risk because they've bought Project 2020 APs. They're limited to 20, and now they're selling them for under the purchase price. But my counterpoint is it's like Vegas, right? You're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but Vegas is coming out ahead far more often than they're not.
Mm-hmm.
So my take is, in the chat, you can sit here and you can defend bots and say they're ethical all you want, but you're wrong. Plain and simple. I said, am I going to get fired up tonight? I might be about to get fired up. They're not ethical, but let's be honest, we don't live in an ethical society. And the people that are the most successful cheat, steal, and lie. So you can either bitch about it or you can join them. I don't like it, but I mean, it is what it is. I don't know what else you can say about it. If the companies, whether that be Panini doing it when they release or Walmart doing it at retail, if they're not going to do anything about it, there's nothing we can do about it. So either you can write your own bot, buy your own bot, or, kind of like this mantra we've been saying the last 6 months, you can figure out a way to collect differently.
Or just come back
down.
No, 77 Cloth said, he said, so he has the Montgomery Club. He has 3 memberships. And
you're only supposed to have one per household, aren't you?
I would say so, but
I'm pretty sure you're only supposed to have one. So I've already read that. I'm already pissed off about that.
Yeah. So, it depends on who has. What I'm saying is that there's, I think we all kind of live in that gray area, right? There's some that live in the gray area, and they kind of play around with the rules that are there, and the bots do that. But again, I'm not a proponent of them. I think there are better ways that we can do this. I had a friend that was talking about the election. He's like, well, why don't we all just vote online? Do you know how easy somebody would have to be able to, it'd be a lot easier with technology to manipulate results than it would be with pen and paper. So, yeah, I'm not a fan. And also too, the stuff we've seen about it and who's doing it, it's not true everyday collectors, people in the hobby. These are guys that are looking to make, they don't care what the product is. It could be candy bars. It could be, hammers, whatever is going to make them the fastest money quickly. So
real quick, if we look at corporate America for a second, you get a lot of investors that come into certain businesses and they get what they can out of it. Sears, let's go with Toys R Us. Toys R Us was bought by a group of venture capitalists that went in there, grabbed as much money as they could out of there, cashed out, and left a mess. And where's Toys R Us now? Toys R Us is a prime example. Sears is another one to a lesser degree. But Toys R Us is gone because people went in there and they just basically took anything that wasn't bolted down. And there's no more place where a kid can be a kid. There's no more Jeffrey the giraffe because it's gone. Because selfish people went in and made a lot of money. And good for them if that's their intent. They had nothing but unethical intent. And that's allowed all the time. You see it in corporate America. You see leveraged buyouts, all this other nonsense, right, without going too far off the reservation. Now, having said that, there's a one-off here in the YouTube chat where you're going to lose a lot of – Royals 417 says, the hobby, quote-unquote, the hobby is continuing to transform into anything but. Okay? When the dust settles, let's assume winter comes and the bubble bursts, 20-30% of us are still going to be around because we're the foundational collectors. We're always going to be around. And you're going to have that other side, that 20-30% that are going to be long gone because they've cashed out. But it's that middle section. That middle section is that fringe casual that don't need this. They don't have that same. The hobby doesn't run as deep in their blood. They'll find something else to do, whether it's Pokemon cards, whether it's comic books, whether it's something completely different, maybe gardening, whatever, to kill their time. But when that dust settles, that's who you need. You need that, because those are the people that are going to be the difference between this hobby being around long term.
That's where we end up we go look back in the late 1990s and early 2000s, exactly. And how thin. If you go back and look at checklist releases and how thin some of that stuff was. It was the same guys.
Yeah.
The same guys
Donruss
over and
gone,
over.
Clear gone, Score gone, right?
Yeah. Real quick, so there was a comment in there about flippers sucking, but I think what's happened is that normal collectors have had to become flippers to be able to get stuff that they actually truly want. And when I say this is now, like when you go to retail, everybody's like grabbing whatever the newest, latest, greatest product is and reselling it for twice. And then now you have people that never would have done that in the past, that would have opened that product or not even bought that product, that are buying it and trying to resell it so they can make some extra money to actually go out and buy what they want because prices have gone up and gone out maybe out of their budget. But being able to buy a couple of blouses at $20 and sell them for $80 puts in $120 in their pocket, and they can go out and buy that card or a few cards that they want. I just want to know what your thoughts are on everyday collectors having to flip to or taking their Montgomery purchases and flipping them from double, triple, quadruple what they paid just so they can stay more active in the hobby as they were, say, in 2012 or 13. I just stun all you guys.
I don't have problem with necessary flippers per se, but those are the flippers that are buying one or two there and flipping it. I have a problem with the stalkers, because that's really all that so many of these people are. They're stalkers, and hell, some of them get pepper sprayed if they're following somebody to another damn store. Those people I have a problem with. Those people aren't collectors. A collector going and there's 3 on the shelf and he sells a couple of them. Hey, you do what you want to do, but they're for anything else. Flippers, there's a degree, there's a level. Not all things are created equal.
Sure.
My take.
What I find funny was there was a guy on Facebook earlier, and I was going to screenshot it and put I hashtag the shit you see on Facebook all the time because it's funny. And it's supposed to be for entertainment, for us to kind of laugh at ourselves as a hobby and what it's become over the last, call it 3 years, right? But there's a kid, and his sales pitch was horrible. He's like, yeah, I bought this Allen and Ginter. I got a couple of blasters, and I got a couple of packs, and this product just really doesn't do it for me. So let me sell it at a 2X. And it's like, I get trying to sell it at cost plus shipping, right? Whatever my hard cost is to get it from Ben to Steph. Steph, you want to buy it for $31. And that's exactly what I paid for it. Great. But this guy's trying to make a profit on it after he's telling you, hey, this product sucks. But it's just one of those things that's like, you must be new here. Because if you're buying Allen and Ginter with the intent to flip, we've talked about Gallery and Chronicles and Fire and some of the other lesser desirable products. Facebook is hilarious. It's free entertainment. You can go Netflix for $15.99 or you can go Facebook for free and join a couple of card groups and have all the free entertainment you want.
Some of the stupid people in the world.
You can flip on a much lesser level, right? We've all opened up a pack or box of cards and found something that was had a monetary worth that was enough to where we're like, hey, I'm going to list this on eBay and get some of my money back because I don't collect this. But yeah, there's a difference between I'm going to go buy all the toilet paper. I mean, that guy that bought $40,000 worth of sanitizer and had like what the FBI was after him and shut him down, and he had to sell it at cost. And you're not allowed to do that in other industries. Why do we allow it in the hobby? And we allow it because of desperation. We need it, right? We want it. If we all just stopped buying it, these flippers would go away.
Yeah. My thing is, I already told myself if I pull a Luis Robert auto out of this jumbo case, it's instantly sold. I'm putting that up right away. So because I'll be able to go back buy it later for less than it would sell this week for.
And you probably will. So I called Angie in here because I'm curious. When we were at the shop the other day, what was the seller that was inside there trying to sell Ginter the 3-pack sell us for?
It was originally going to be $29.99 per Ginter 3-pack, and I was like, "You're on crack."
Those are $10 packs, right?
Yeah, they retail $10.98 or some shit like that. And I talked him down to $15 because I didn't have to wake up at butt crack of dawn on Friday.
I'm sorry, where was that?
There was a seller that had struck out at one of the local shops in the area.
Which shop?
In Arlington, off of 360.
That's what I was wondering.
Is that Nick's for those of us that live over here in the California?
No, Nick's is in Plano.
Richardson, nice try.
It's
not same.
But no, he'd struck out trying to sell them there, and he wanted to sell it for triple the cost. No, dude, no. That I get. If perfect example, I found 4 boxes of 2018 Topps Factory set. I'm keeping one for myself. Anybody wants one, come hit me up. I'll sell one, 2.
He'll ever make it to post office.
That's not on the same volume of this guy who had a 5,000 count box full of individual packs of major product.
Yeah. No,
and that's where I agree with Ken. It's 1 or 2. Hey, sure. Think about it like a car. You can sell a certain amount of cars, at least in the state of Texas, a certain amount of cars before you have to get a business license because you are selling cars at that point.
Sure.
There is
just real quick, to Ken's point, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, when it comes to flipping, I think, at the height of the Project 2020, we saw a lot of people that were buying the 2-pack because you wanted your card. I want the McGuire, so I'm going to buy the Sandy Koufax. And at one time, they were selling for $35, $40. So if I buy it, by the time I get it in hand, I can now list it on eBay and get my $40 back. And basically, I've gotten my McGuire for free. The difference is, to use the Project 2020 illustration, is people were buying 30, 40 of these things. And that's what they're doing at retail. They're not buying 2 blasters. I'm going to flip one for 2X. I'm going to get my blaster for free.
They're buying 200. We're seeing pictures of somebody with 250 optic basketball blasters. There's a difference between that guy.
Stupid, because
but there's a difference between that guy and the guy that ran into 5 of them at Walmart or Target and cleared the. That's my opinion. You don't like my opinion?
Yeah,
that's fine. You know what they say about opinions.
Yeah. I check Walmart every time I go in there because I left some archives on the shelf one time when I did find blasters a few months back, and I posted a picture of it. I'm like, well, look, nobody wants archives. And I had a few friends reach out on Twitter, and they're like, dude, I would have bought those at cost. So, yeah, if I go in there and found 2 or 3 blasters, absolutely, I'd probably buy them and throw them up on Twitter and say, listen, my hard cost is $28. Who wants them? Just because they're so hard to find. And that's not flipping. Because I wouldn't be making anything. I'd be losing money when you factor in, your time and gas and, but
you're already there.
Wants one. Yeah, no, but you got to go to the post office, and when you start adding all of the additional costs, but yeah, I would absolutely do that for one of you guys or an extension thereof. Hundreds of people on Twitter that we all consider, hobby friends, and but I'm not going to go out there and gouge people. And that's the difference. That's that mindset. Hey, I can get $45 off of you because I can. I'm preying on it's predatory pricing essentially.
Yeah. You brought up VCs. You brought up venture capitalists earlier about Toys R Us, and there was an article that came out from Ben Bergman from .LA online about venture capitalists hopping into the hobby. And the article is pretty detailed, but I pulled out some segments of it, and I'll read those to you. As early investors in buzzy startups like Lyft, SpaceX, Pinterest, and Ring, Courtney and Carter Room have gained a reputation as successful venture investors. And now they're devoting some of their attention and dollars to a decidedly lower tech investment trading cards. After dabbling in cards as a hobby since they were kids growing up in the Midwest, the brothers want to use what they have learned as VCs to start a fund to procure undervalued cards they hope will someday score big returns. The rooms are making what they describe as meaningful contributions to a multi-million-dollar card fund called Mint 10. They view it as a way to diversify holdings away from liquid shares in startups that won't pay off for years if they're lucky, in equities in which they see as overvalued. One of them says, I see this as a great alternative class, somewhere closer to a stock, a bet a little less liquid, but more so than my venture and my private equity stuff, said Courtney Room. To me, there's not much to find in the stock market that's a good deal. A study last year showed baseball cards had a far superior return to stocks over the previous decade. The pandemic has triggered a frenzy in the card market, with huge spikes in trading and new records for coveted NBA rookie cards fetching more than $1 million apiece. Mint 10 will hedge its bets by buying a mix of cards from the three major sports, hockey, that are both old and new. It's no different than how a long or short fund does their allocation. Room said, we have LP, a limited partner interest, coming out of our ears. So, for those that haven't heard of VCs, these are guys that we hear a lot of them in California, right? Especially in the tech world. If you ever watched Silicon Valley on HBO, the VCs are the guys that might not have the brains, but they have the money, and they put that in the company, and that's how they make more money. And they help the smart guys with no money make something really big. And or if you've ever watched any of the movies about Apple, they had some early VCs in that, and some of them made money, and some of them pulled out and sold out too early. But I laughed when I read this because these are supposedly guys that have good money and been able to invest in some very successful businesses and apps and things like that. But history's doomed to repeat itself, and any of us, and all of us here, well, except for Steph, remember what it was like to collect and be in the junk wax era, and how that 86 Donruss Jose Canseco was $100 card all day long, and 1987 money, and now it's what, $5 to $10 in 2020 money. Somebody said, when I posted this, someone says, I can't wait to hear what Ben has to say on Twitter. Well, I just want to know what your guys' thoughts. Go ahead, invest your money in it, but these are the guys that are going to come in. Might do well early on, but they're not going to get destroyed on some things if they hold longer than a year or two.
Well, and we all know that Ben has a nice, very, very nice rant upcoming. I'll hit with this. There's nothing wrong with them wanting to come into the hobby, and I'm sure that they see it as a huge moneymaker, and that's why they're doing it. If so be it, it's their money. They're welcome to try to make more money. Who doesn't want to do that? Where I disagree with it is the company's marketing towards those guys, either in making product that's $6,000, $8,000, $12,000, $25,000 a product, making out the little man. And, at least personally, to a smaller degree, one of our family friends is an investment banker. He comes to me and he goes, long-time New York Giants fan. I want to get a Lawrence Taylor auto or jersey or something to that effect. Can you help me out in figuring that out? Yeah, sure. I have no issue helping someone completely new to the hobby, whereas someone who's been in the hobby and is returning. However, when you start demanding these things and expecting it for free and not, when you start taking the time of the collectors, you're not just trying to learn yourself, to use that yourself, you're working off someone else's time to make your money. That's where I have a bit of an issue.
really quick, I did some research here. In 1986, $100 would be worth $237.48. Today's and then that's $100. So if you took $10 today, that Consega's worth say $10 now. It'd be worth $4.21 in 1986. So your $100 card went to $4 real quick. So that was a good investment in 1986, huh?
Yeah, it's always a good investment when you're making money. It's nobody ever talks about their bad investments. Yeah, I didn't read this article because they make me laugh. Yeah. Mark Oil tagged me in one the other day on Yahoo, and I'm like, "What?" I said, "Is it going to piss me off or make me laugh?" And he goes, "Probably a little bit of both." and it's the same article. These guys can have money and they can spend it however they want. But you said it. The guy says there's no money, there's no deals to be had in the stock market. Well, yes, there is. You can put your money in Amazon, and the odds are it's going to grow, but it's not going to grow overnight, and you're not going to be able to cash out, nor would you want to, right? You're going to be in the long play, and that's the thing is this is day trading. I can get in today, and I can get out tomorrow the second that this card increases, and I can double my money or triple my money, whatever it is. This is the only hobby that's predicated and tied directly to human performance. Guy has a good game, prices go up. Guy has a bad game. Gavin Lux, Ken mentioned earlier, gets sent down to the minors. His market tanks. Why? He's still young. He still has a bright future. There's no reason his market should shift as dramatically as it did, but it does. And that's the thing. These guys mentioned it there. My money can't be tied up long term in Ring and Lift and all this. This is a cash flow issue. I have X amount of dollars. Years ago when I had a coffee shop, I went to a venture capitalist and I needed about 15 grand and they laughed at me. They're like, "You're not worth my time." And I said, "Why not? I can probably double your money over 2 years." And I had a business plan. And he's like, "Because I can take that $15,000 and put it with another 60 grand, 75,000 in this business over here, and I can double my money in 6 months. With you, I can double my money, but what the hell's an extra 15 grand? Here, it's going to be 75. He goes, "You're just small. You know," he goes, you're not worth my time. He goes, "I've already spent too much time talking to you." And, and I was young and I didn't really understand that, but looking back, he's right. That money's not going to do enough for him. And they could spend all of this money and invest in companies that we know are going to grow over the next 2, 3, 4 years. But why would they? You throw that on a Jordan, get it graded and it doubles in price. You go up and gobble up a bunch of raw stuff. It's not a bad plan, but let's not call it investing because that's not what it is. It's day trading. It's speculation. You're trying to buy low and sell high. And the thing is with this hobby, that buy low is today and sell high could be tomorrow. It's that quick. You don't get that in the stock market, and that's why it's different.
What do you think, Ken?
This is the first I've heard of this. I don't even pay attention to this garbage. I really don't. I mean, I'm trying to. I tell you, y'all, I think probably saw it. I've had a few this year where I just to take that back from the hobby in general. I've taken a few weeks off Twitter, and it's because of this investing and all this kind of stuff, and it just rubs me the wrong way. So I've tried to be smarter and just not get involved with it. So honestly, this is the first I've heard of it. You guys, they can go do them, whatever. Move on. Yeah, I'm a collector. I've been putting on Instagram when I've been showing cards, collector, not investor. So quite honestly, I don't give a damn what they do for it. My teams, Charles Barkley's that I'm buying on sport lots are not going to be affected by this. My $8 Alec Manoah's numbered out of 18 are not going to be affected by this. You guys do you. I'm just going to be over here in the corner just collecting all my stupid stuff.
Yeah, it brings some different eyes, I think, to the hobby and brings people back. And they're seeing some of this stuff like I said, I had a friend reach out from high school and recently, and he's seen other people in other realms. Like we've seen that it was the dude Logan Paul with his Pokemon stuff, and I think that's what caught his eye. And he's like, and he follows me on Twitter, and he didn't realize I had this show or that I talked about cards all the time. I was like, dude, that's all that's out there. But he's been asking me a lot of questions, and I answer because he's just trying to figure out and get back into it and what's good. But I think this can bring some people back in or bring some other eyes to the hobby. It just brings some coverage to it. I don't agree with it. I think it's hilarious that you can do this. There was a guy last week at Stacking Slabs. We didn't talk about this topic, but he mentioned the hobby, like getting back in the hobbies like college. And I laughed at the handle, Stacking Slabs, because I always make fun of the slabbers, right? Like, you can see my slabs? But he tweeted out, getting back in the hobby is like going to college. Arrive, you make a ton of mistakes, get in trouble, wake up with regrets, forget about it, chase the next, meet up some upperclassmen who show you how it's done, remix their teachings, find happiness, and graduate. And I was like, that is spot on. When I came in 2012, I was buying all kinds of stuff. I was buying random things. I didn't have a focus. I was all over the place. I'd buy stuff and open it. A lot of Panini football, and then I would realize like that was a mistake, and God, I want to vomit. Especially 2013 was a bad year to collect football, and I have a lot of it. And then you start to find some people around the hobby that help you out and give you guidance. And I've always said Ben Aguirre's been one of that guy. He really helped me get focused. Our Ben here on the show really got me focused in on being a player team collector, really specifying a focus, and Steph as well, and getting organized and keeping that stuff. So I think that's really good. And I wanted us, because we've all been collecting for quite some time, and we've done this and we've gone through this college process, I would say. But what tips would you give to a new collector? Because we have new eyes coming in and we have old eyes coming back. It's a different world out there than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. But what advice would you give a collector that's coming back in or entering the hobby for the first time?
And I think just the advice you gave was great. One, find people that seem to know what they're doing and ask them questions. Not too long ago, friend of the show, and prior to his power going out, John P. Didn't know all that much. He knew what he liked. He saw some cards, but he kept asking us questions. Hey, what's the difference between this and this? What is this? Helped them along, showed him things, taught him some of this company does this company does that, and now he knows what he's doing. He still ask questions every now and then, and that's fine. There's a big difference between that and just shooting off, hey, I'm looking to buy 100 of the greatest prospects currently available right now. Here's $40,000 that I have available. For collectors, we really don't make it the easiest, but find a couple good resources. So like Trading Card DB has practically every checklist, and if it doesn't, it will add it. And I'm sorry, Boss Brink, for adding all of the variations to 89 Donruss, but it is what it is. Between that, if you want to go the Beckett route, they have the catalog still, good checklists. Any one of us podcasts, we can recommend several. And find what you like.
So what advice would you give, Ken?
If it takes you 10 boxes to open up and realize that you don't like singles, you only like hits, save your money and buy the bigger boxes.
Or buy the hits.
So it's funny, Tim, you said something about, somebody getting back into the hobby, and I've actually had that within the last, 6 to 8 weeks. A guy went to school with from kindergarten all the way up through high school, and he's gotten back into it. So we've had a lot of chats on Twitter. So some of the things, kind of what y'all have already said. Don't just jump in feet first. Don't just go buy a box of XY product. At least do research or buy a pack or do something like that. Number two, don't take what anyone says as gospel. And in that case, I'm meaning more to the question, what should I collect? I've been asked that by people. What should I collect? Well, you collect what you want to collect. I don't know what you want to collect. I can't answer that for you. Do you want to open packs? Do you want to put sets together? In his case, he hasn't collected since the late 80s. Well, we collected sets then. That's what you did then. Right. You don't really do that now. It's prohibitive to do that. And kind of going on that, don't spread yourself too thin. I have made this comment on Twitter multiple times. I envy some of these people that are newer to the hobby and know exactly what they collect. Ben is not newer to the hobby, but I envy the fact that at least he knows what he collects. I grew up collecting in the late 80s. You could collect it all. You could collect every baseball set, every football set, every hockey. I was a kid and could collect it all. You can't do that now. So don't spread yourself too thin. You got to take some time to learn what you want. Do you collect WVU guys in my case? Do you want to be a team collector? Do you want to be the best Andrew McCutcheon collector? What do you want to do and spend your money that way so that you're not wasting money on other stuff and having like these freaking all these monster boxes I've got over here are garbage that I don't even want anymore. So I kind of envy the guys that, like I said, like Ben, that are they know exactly what they want. Steph collects his twins. Y'all do Ginter. Y'all do Diamond Kings. And for the most part, that's what you do. And I envy those guys. Unfortunately, I still spread myself too thin. And the last thing is just look for the joy. Don't worry about the damn money. I mean, if you're worried about the money and what it's going to be worth, you're going to make yourself miserable. If you're having fun with it and you buy what you want, not what you think is going to go up, then you're really not going to go wrong. You may have some regrets later. We've all overspent on somebody. Ben, I'm sure, overspent on Seth's stuff. Shep was talking about 2013 football. Geno Smith, Tavon Austin, Stedman Bailey, WVU rookies. Hey, you know how much money I spent in 2013 football? I could have all of those cards I have now, and I could probably have them all for like $200. Oh,
and better ones maybe too.
So yeah,
I mean, I think you could get Geno. I think you get Stedman Bailey to come to your house for a crisp $100.
Well, or at
Tavon
least
Austin might be like $250, but.
Well, with Steady, maybe if I had some connections with some weed or something, he'd come by. But anyway, but that's what I was going to say. So we have made bad decisions overspending on, guys early on. But in general, you don't regret it that much because I know at that time, I was willing to pay that, and I was happy to pay that. Those would be my tips.
Yeah. What about you, Ben? What would you be your advice?
Yes, Steph kind of covered all of our notes that we had shared privately before the show, and Kim kind of brought it home. The only two things I would add outside of what those guys had mentioned were the hobby always boils down to two things, and we've mentioned it here before. It comes down to cost, and it comes down to space. You've gotta collect within your financial means because we all have different resources we can allocate to this. It's a hobby. It's not a race to beat the Joneses next door. We can't collect it all, as Ken said. So you've got to be able to collect within your financial resources, and only you can understand that. And the second thing is space. Some of us are blessed with having much more space than others, and some of us don't. When you look at it, Tim, you've got a couple of young babies. I've got a couple of young babies. Ken's got fur babies. Steph and Angela have the cat. But think about that. If somebody's got 5 kids, they're gonna have less space than the guy or gal who's single. And only you know how much space in your home you're willing to allocate to this hobby.
Now I'm thinking back. Did I make a mistake getting married and having kids? Because I could have had a 4-bedroom house all by myself, just full of cards. Like I could have had a baseball card room, a football card room, a basketball card room.
And the thing is people make these mistakes before so that you can learn from them. Like Ken said, right? You make a mistake and you overspend. Tim, I got married and divorced. I got remarried and divorced. I had kids before you. I laid it out for you, and you still came behind me and made the same damn mistakes. Also, B, I love you. You're a great gal. You got great kids. They're cute, but hopefully she's not listening tonight.
No, she doesn't listen. Come on now.
Well, Heather just walked down the hallway and is giving me the stink eye at the moment with the kids.
And
well, that's the advantage. That's the advantage of the late show. My wife's been asleep for 3 hours.
So anyway, guys, any final thoughts before we head out tonight?
I do have a breaking bit here from Brett and Becca. Please tell me you've heard that eBay and USPS are rolling out a new shipping option for sport cards with tracking and seller protection for only 75 cents. One of the biggest news in sport cards in many years. Wow, Brent, you threw me off. Sorry. Wow, shocked, but it's about time. Someone asked, "Hey, link or details?" Pop that open, and then someone had asked him, and it's actually where I'd pulled it, where he saw it, and he said he saw it on eBay.
Wow, if that's true, that's huge. It's huge.
That's tremendous. By the way, anytime I say tremendous in the house, my wife shoots me daggers. I did see something funny today on Twitter, and somebody said that if Biden were to win and he would tweet out "you're fired," that the whole internet would would have
that would be
and would shut down for at least 20 minutes. That would break Twitter.
This is not a political endorsement, but I've taken to talking like Trump around the house with Bentley because it's just funny. And my Trump is absolutely horrible. And every time I try to talk like Trump, Bentley looks at me and he tells me, "Quit talking like a baby, Dad." So
75 cents. Yeah. This is a cached page that is no longer up.
Interesting. I do have two quick points. We were talking about venture capitalists and that specifically those two guys. I just wanted to make two quick points. One, people like this are coming into the hobby, and that's why you're paying more on the secondary market, and you're going to continue to pay more as long as there's money to be made. The second is rhetorical, and it's basically if this hobby, once the inevitable happens and the bubble bursts, where will guys like this be? They will take their money and be long gone. They'll be in some other venture because that's what they do. And they're going to leave everything, it's like a tornado that's going to hit, right? And I'm using that analogy, and I apologize to anybody out there that might have suffered at the hands of a tornado because that's obviously real. But, it leaves a lot of devastation behind. And I know that might be a poor analogy for anybody that suffered at the hands of a tornado, but it's poignant in the sense that these people come in and they're going to get what they get, and then you're left with the devastation behind. And hopefully enough of us are around still, because I think a lot of people are going to check out in the meantime because it's just not affordable anymore.
Yeah, and then before we end the show tonight, I want to give a little slumber news. One of our listeners, Chris Harris, Stale Gum on Twitter, unfortunately lost his father this past weekend, and I'm in that shitty club. And I sent him a little note and just said, "Hey, man, this is, I'm sorry. I feel for you. This is a shitty club to be in, but know all your hobby friends are here and your hobby family is here to support you in whatever you need." Chris was a big supporter when we were on the Hobby Hotline. He's been on our chat. I love him because he's just Stale Gums is perfect for him because he's kind of, he's been a guest on the show. I mean, you get his feel like he loves collecting, but he's got this little edge of, this little chip, and it's great because it's black and white with him. Like, it's like you or whatever. It's great. And I love it. And I feel bad for him. I mean, that he's going through that, but he got to say goodbye, and which is, I guess, you got some closure there at least. So,
and he's not the kind of guy
with him.
He's not the kind of guy to share that kind of information either. He doesn't really share his personal life very much. So, for him to be so transparent and open about that, I mean, anybody who's lost a parent, can definitely empathize. So, thoughts and prayers go out to the Harris family.
Definitely.
But it's been a great show. I really appreciate, Ken spending his late nights with us. I'm glad he could break away from his new binge-worthy show, which I thought was hilarious.
The old school Dallas.
J.R. Ewing, I love it. Remember, we're live.
That guy is a jerk. That's really
yeah.
What was that? Clint, the brother-in-law, he was way worse.
No, see, we like him, Cliff.
Oh, Cliff, yeah.
Cliff, yeah. See, we like
Bobby.
him, so this house likes
Bobby.
Cliff. We like Bobby too.
Oh,
Have you been
no,
to
I love JR.
He's a jerk.
It's all about JR. man.
have you
Come on,
been to
man.
the South Fork Ranch?
He's like,
I have not. I know it's up there and you can visit, but I have not. Maybe we'll try and do that after we get all the way through this. You know, in 2023 when we finally get through it, it's like almost 300 episodes, I think.
Right.
well, I see. I'm a fan of Scar. I think Scar was the hero in Lion King. Like he knew what he wanted and he took it. He's the hero, and he's my profile picture on Disney Plus. And
Mufasa shouldn't have been so damn soft. That's what it is. Mufasa just
man up.
It's like playing open chess when we were in junior high, right? Mufasa's walking around with an open chest, and Scar popped him. That's what it was.
I have no idea what y'all are talking about.
Remember, we're live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific on YouTube. Come on, Lion King, man. On YouTube, make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. You can always follow Ken at Beans B Card Blog on Twitter. See, I finally got it right. It took 3 years. You can always follow us on Twitter about the cards. Follow Ben and our trading cards. Follow Steph at Junkwax Twins. You can always follow me at Big Chef 79. Make sure you share your hobby stories, great polls, and send your questions our way. Keep collecting, and we'll see you next week again. Ken, thank you so much. It was great to have you on tonight, buddy. I appreciate hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me, fellas.